exciting. I'm really excited about this show because, as you all know, for our viewing audience that has been with us for several months, I was actually pregnant the last time you saw me here. And the last time I believe I was here was in December when I was 9.5 months pregnant. So today I'm back, and the most exciting part is that my little girl, my little baby who's 1 month old, is actually going to be joining us in the fourth segment today. So our viewing audience is going to be able to meet her. I'm so excited about today's show. One is because I have invited several of the ladies who have actually worked with me through my birth process to be on the show with us today. And to start with, I have Tisa. And Tisa was my doula. And for all of you out there, if you're sitting at home or at work or on the road saying, what is a doula? You are not the only one who asked that question. So Tisa, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Marcy.
So Tisa, what is the $1 million question? What is a doula?
What is a do what? That's what most people say when you say that you're a doula. And to put it completely simplified is that we are trained and experienced professionals who provide continuous physical, emotional, and informational support to the mother before, during, and just after birth.
Yes. And like I said earlier, Tisa was my doula, and a friend of mine recommended me to get a doula. And then one of our other guests on the show recommended me to get a doula. And so when I eventually found you, it was amazing. For all of you women out there who are thinking about being pregnant, who currently are pregnant, or who want to get pregnant again, listen up, because this is a wonderful service that you will thoroughly enjoy. So, Tisa, the word doula, where did that come from? What's the meaning?
There's a little bit of controversy because me and my doula friends were chatting about that last night.
Yeah.
But on a lot of websites, you will find that the word doula is actually derived from a Greek meaning of the word. The Greek meaning of the word is woman's servant. And so through time, this word has evolved to mean woman who serves.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I loved your service. Let me tell you, it was amazing. So what do doulas do?
Well, that's a good question. We like to say that we mother the mother in the simplest terms. We provide emotional support. We use comfort measures.
Mm-hmm.
We are providing information throughout our care period. But to put it in, to basically explain what I do, I'll explain to you how I basically provide my care. And that is when I meet someone, I sit down and I find out what they're looking for in their birth experience. What are they looking to achieve? It doesn't matter to me whether or not you're looking for a medicated or an unmedicated birth, whether or not this is your first or your sixth baby. I'm just there to support the end goal that you would like to have. If you're looking for information, if you're looking for someone to hold your hand when things are getting really rough. And I'm also there to help daddies and partners as well. Sometimes, especially as first-time parents, you're navigating uncharted waters, right?
Yes.
And you might not know what to expect. And dads and partners definitely want to support the mother as well. And a lot of times I'm there to help that partner help mommy.
Yes, and you did every bit of that for me because I was looking for information. I was looking for someone to hold my hand. I was looking for someone to be there during the delivery process and answer all my questions. And you were able to do that for me and my husband. And it was such a blessing to have you and to have your support. And it's definitely a calling, though. I mean, it's definitely something that it's not an easy job. I mean, I don't know what my birth process was compared to everyone else's that you work with, but I can't say I was the easiest client. But what inspired you? I mean, what was your calling to be able to become a doula?
Oh, well, I don't get asked that a lot, but so thank you. I actually didn't have this in my cards until later in the last few years. I actually started out in the Air Force and surprisingly as an aircraft mechanic. So going from being in a very male-dominated physical career and coming into this is probably pretty interesting to some people. I have 6 children of my own, and maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, when I was pregnant with my 5th baby, I had a chance to quit my job and become a stay-at-home mommy. And it gave me a chance to look at things that I'd never had a chance to look at before. So I was doing some reading and research and stuff that I'd never done before. And lo and behold, there was a lot of information that I had never known, even being a 5th-time mom. And I was really taken back by some of the things that I learned. And it really inspired me to go out there and help moms achieve some of the things that I was not able to achieve when I was pregnant with my first 5 babies.
Oh, good deal. So why hire a doula?
Well, let's see. The reasons why you would want to hire a what I think the reason why you would want to hire a doula is I think that right now there is a gap in our maternity care system. You've got excellent medical care right now, but we're not supporting the mom and the dad through the emotional and the physical parts of it. So there's, I'm sure, like
yes,
parents are looking for support educational wise, and they're looking for somebody like to have that continuous care from the time that their labor starts until they get to the hospital and postpartum wise.
Yes,
well.
absolutely.
And there's tons of research that show that having a doula tends to result in a shorter labor.
Mine was shorter.
Oh, there you go.
How strange. I mean, they said I'd be laboring for about 2 to 3 hours being a first-time mom, and it was less than an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It reduces negative feelings about the childbirth experience.
Yeah, I had a great experience. So there you go.
It reduces the need for and there is evidence to support this. It reduces the need for Pitocin, forceps and vacuum extraction as well. Reduces the request for pain medication, epidurals, and possibly the incidence of cesareans. When a doula is present during and after childbirth, women report greater satisfaction with their birth experience and make more positive assessments with their babies, and they just overall have a better experience.
I had a great experience in which all of my first-time mommies were really shocked that I had such a great experience. I just thought I was a rock star, but apparently it's because you were there.
So. It's all you.
No, but honestly, it was really amazing. And it is a before, during, and after care.
Right.
And the biggest help for me was being a first-time mom. I didn't want to go to the hospital too early. That's the greatest risk of having a C-section is going too early. And so I had you come over to my house after my water had broke. She came over. She helped me go through some of my contractions. She was with me when it was, okay, at any time now, when you feel comfortable, Marcy,
right.
You can go to the hospital. She followed my husband and I to the hospital. She was with us during triage. She kept us calm. She was able to answer 1,000 questions that my husband, it was just overall, it was a great experience. But I know that helped me so much as a first-time mom. So, I knew how to find a doula because of a reference that I got at the hospital that I gave birth at. But if you don't have a reference, like how does someone go about finding a doula?
Well, right now, thanks to technology, Google is your best shot. There's a lot of, internet services that provide you with doula references. You can go to doulamatch.com and doula.com. Right?
It's like a dating website.
I know. But you'll be able to see other doula profiles and see who's in your area. Be able to see what they're charging, what their going rate is, things like that. And also, knowing another doula can give you some references as well.
For sure. And your contact information has been flashing up on the screen periodically
Wonderful.
During this show. So if you are in the greater Bakersfield, Kern County area, or if you want to fly Tisa anywhere in this world,
well, there you go.
Please feel free to contact her.
Somewhere warm.
Somewhere warm, tropical, or, I don't know. We have viewing audiences in Japan.
Oh, goodness.
And so, maybe, I don't know. If you're in Japan and you want to do doula, Tisa's available.
Well, I'm going to be on that side of the country pretty soon.
There you go. So what can I expect to spend? Now, I know what I spent on you, but
Right.
is that kind of universal?
Right. Well, it's very particular to the area that you're in the country. What I want to say is that some doulas offer services based on a sliding scale if there is a need. But here in Bakersfield, the general cost is somewhere between maybe $600 and $800.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, Tisa, we are coming down to the wire, but what are your future plans? And give us a short synopsis of what you have in your future.
Well, in my future, particularly, I'm finishing up midwifery school right now. So sometime in the coming year or so, hopefully, I'll be getting my license to practice in the state of California. Definitely want to develop a bigger birth community and develop some relationships with the medical community.
Wonderful. Well, I love my relationship with you, and so does my husband. So if anyone out there is interested in getting a hold of Tisa, please, please, please contact her by the information that you see on the screen. We're also going to have that on later on in the show in the event that you don't have a pen or a piece of paper to write that down right now. But thank you, Tisa, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate the information. And stay tuned. When we return, we're going to have a registered nurse come in and talk to us a little bit about her experience as a nurse and what the birth process is actually like.
I'm a comparison shopper. I shopped around. I did look on the internet, and in shopping around, it was the best price.
We decided to switch over to Personal Express because we saved so much.
We got a pretty good discount with when we put our house and our cars together.
Switching over saved me $300 a month.
And I have had insurance companies call me, and when I tell them what I'm paying for the insurance, they tell me we cannot beat that.
Low rates with the local advantage. That's Personal Express.
Hi, Corey Costello here, host of Roadrunner Rundown, Tuesdays 10 to 11 right here on Bakersfield.com. Join us this week as we speak with Athletics Director Jeff Konya, updating us on a couple coaching searches underway. Also, we're going to talk some sand volleyball as that program has a new head coach in the interim, and also a new Corey Visits as I'm on the road this week, and I'm going to take you to another exciting place around the Western Athletic Conference. So join us for that Tuesday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on Bakersfield.com.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
Welcome back to Open Up. I am so excited that you have returned with us because I have Kim Goforth with us here today. She is a retired nurse, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the actual birth process. So we just got finished talking about kind of, the pre-birth process with Tisa and what you could do to prepare. And now we're going to be actually talking about like the day of, like the biggest day of a woman's life, and, possibly her husband, of course her husband's too. So you are officially retired.
Yes. So
what did you do and where did you work?
Well, I worked at Kern Medical Center, the famous hospital lately, for almost 33 years. I went to Cal State Bakersfield directly out of high school, and I graduated in 4 years. When I was 22 years old, I started as an RN at Kern Medical Center, and I did my whole career at KMC.
Wow.
So I really loved it.
I bet you did. I bet you know every nook and cranny of that hospital.
Well, labor and delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. So how many babies approximately? I mean, in 30 years, do you have I mean, how many babies do you think you helped out?
I really have no idea.
Hundreds and hundreds.
It was a very extremely busy hospital. We would have sometimes in certain years around 600 babies a month.
Wow.
Other years, not as much, but it was a very, very busy hospital. A lot of high risk, interesting experiences, and I thoroughly loved it.
A lot of emergent care.
Very much.
Yeah. When you plan your delivery, you usually don't end up at KMC. That's what I've heard.
It's a hospital for a lot of high-risk people, lower socioeconomic group sometimes, but I mean they're having other deliveries too.
Yeah, but it keeps you around for 30 years. I mean, what a great experience.
Well, it's a teaching hospital, so we would always have very, very high-risk, interesting cases. Plus, there's resident doctors, so I would meet doctors from all over the world, which I enjoyed a lot too.
That is really neat. So what a calling. I mean, to be able to be a part of the biggest day of someone's life and then bringing a life into the world. I mean, what inspired you to become a labor and delivery nurse? Is that what you were called, a labor and delivery?
Labor and delivery nurse.
Okay,
My
great.
grandmother was an RN, and she had a very long career. And I started college in 1974, and just a few years before that, Cal State had started their RN program. So I thought, well, I could be an RN. It was kind of scientific, kind of people-orientated.
Yeah.
So, plus my grandmother was the nurse, so that's I was a lucky person who decided early on what my career was going to be. So
yeah, you're very
I loved
lucky.
it.
Great. Now, is this a career path that students today should look into? I mean, is there job opportunities? Is this something that you would encourage young people to look into?
I think being a registered nurse is one of the most wonderful careers for anybody. There's so many different areas you could go into. Most people either love labor and delivery or they can't stand it. But it's, being an RN, there's so many types of nursing that you can do. I think it's a really good career. A lot of people will be retiring, so there's always going to be a need for nurses, I believe.
Yeah, and the labor and delivery process, my dad always tells me, he's been in real estate and construction and, in that type of industry. But my dad always says, like, if he could choose another career, redo his life, he'd be an OBGYN. He always says that, bringing life into this world and seeing that process happen, he said, is just the most amazing experience.
Well, I just found in, taking the classes at Cal State, we obviously studied, we had our quarter about maternity nursing, and I just found it fascinating, the changes of the woman's body that she goes through.
Yes, a lot of
growing
changes.
the baby. Yeah. So I just found it very interesting, and it was what I liked, so that's what I did.
That is super. Okay, so there is a lot of changes in the mommy. There are a lot of physical changes, emotional changes. And then there's the dad or the partner who is, trying to change right along with you. But a lot of times it's, it's very difficult. If you had the opportunity to give advice to the dads or the partners of one thing that they could do to help during the labor and delivery process, what would that be?
I think the best thing that the dad can do is to be there and to try not to be too hyper, to not talk like a motor mouth, and just be supportive.
Awesome. And during my labor, my husband, for some reason during labor, not like the leading up to it, but during hard labor, I wanted to eat ice. And so my husband was my Iceman. And so, during, in between pushing, he would feed me ice.
Well, that's a good job.
You couldn't have planned that. I mean, we had no idea that was going to be happening. But have you ever delivered a baby without the doctor actually making it to the event?
Every RN in the world has delivered many, many babies.
Really?
Sometimes there is no time for the doctor to get there, and it's a very common occurrence.
So
that the general public probably does not realize.
Really?
Yeah.
See, because the doctors always come in last minute. All of a sudden it's oh, you're ready to pop the baby out? Okay, doctor, come on in. And I'm thinking that timing
Well, it
doesn't
depends.
always
Sometimes
sync.
there's 2 or 3 patients that are going to deliver
that
at
too.
the same time, and they are popping from room to room because they don't quite know who's going to deliver
Oh my
first.
goodness.
So it
So-
can be very busy sometimes.
Yeah. So you're a nurse / doctor.
No.
But you can do it.
Right.
So have you ever delivered anything? The question would be larger than twins or triplets, or
Well,
have you ever seen anything?
KMC has had, I think, maybe 2 or 3 sets of triplets. I was never working when any triplets were
Really?
delivered, but I have assisted on twins quite a few times.
Wow. I would never want to be a part of that experience, but it's cool as a nurse to be able to see that. So, what is the shortest delivery that you've ever experienced?
Well, we had people coming in on the gurney and deliver in the hallway on the gurney, like just as soon as they
Oh,
get
my.
through the doors. I mean, obviously they were in labor a long time at their house before they came in. So,
Yeah, that's a good.
and sometimes people would be in labor and they didn't really know they were in labor. So, I mean, it's very extremely
Talk about a good delivery.
extremely
Don't even-
different. It's
don't
never
even
boring.
know. That's so awesome. Well, that's really neat. That's another reason why a doula is so important, is because instead of delivering in the hallways or not knowing that you're in delivery, you can have someone help you out with that.
Well, I mean, the registered nurses, they are there to help everybody and answer questions too. you know,
Yes.
but sometimes they are busier than a doula who can be directly just with one person. The RNs have to be in multiple places.
Well, and they take care of all of the medical needs.
Right.
That is a huge responsibility. And my nurses during my delivery were absolutely amazing, and came and checked on me afterwards when I went up in postpartum. Came and held my baby afterward. I mean, not only were they amazing, but huge hearts too, and I really appreciated them. So you worked at KMC, and we already talked about how a lot of that was emergent care. Was there any crazy type deliveries that ended up happening that you could think of?
Well,
we don't want to scare our viewing
no.
audience necessarily.
We had a long time ago one teenage mother who got in a car accident when she was pregnant.
Oh my.
And she had a broken leg. And so before she could get her cast on, which was like her femur, her upper leg, she had to deliver her baby. So we delivered a girl with a broken leg.
Oh my goodness.
And so that was a little different.
I guess so. So, final group of questions for you. What's the largest baby you've ever delivered?
Well, I mean, I didn't deliver that one, obviously, but I mean, I saw like a 14-pound baby one time. 14 certain amount of ounces, I can't remember.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't even want to meet the mother who popped that out. She has to be. And what's
Well,
the
I mean,
smallest
that one
baby?
was probably a C-section. I can't remember.
Oh, I can imagine. What's the smallest baby that you've ever seen?
Well, we would have, premature deliveries, fairly often because it was a high-risk hospital, like 2 pounds, 1 ounce.
Oh my goodness.
But we went more with grams than pounds.
Wow. Wow. Well, what a calling. I appreciate your service. I mean, I never experienced having, but I appreciate you being in the field. And
Well, thank you.
and it's such a calling, and it's such a beautiful experience.
Well, it's not always beautiful.
That's true. It
Sometimes
was beautiful
it's-
for me.
Sometimes it's down to the nitty-gritty, and it's quite stressful sometimes. Not every birth is super
Yeah.
easy. A lot of people have a hard time delivering, but that's why you need the medical and the nurses and the doulas
Yeah.
to help whatever situation comes
Well,
up.
we appreciate your services. For the 30 years that you did give your service, I can't imagine how many mothers you were able to bless and you were able to work with. And to all the registered nurses out there, we appreciate you, and we appreciate what you do for everyone. So thank you so much, Kim, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on my show, and I would like to say hello to my former coworkers at KMC. Hi, Cindy.
Good deal. Good deal. So shout out to all the nurses out there. Cindy, we appreciate what you do for us, and we appreciate what you do in your field. Stay tuned, because we're going to be talking about what happens after birth. When the show continues, we're going to have a good conversation with one of my close friends, Adrienne. And so stay tuned, and that way we'll be able to talk more fun stuff about babies. Okay.
I'm a comparison shopper. I shopped around. I did look on the internet, and in shopping around, it was the best price.
We decided to switch over to Personal Express because we saved so much.
We got a pretty good discount with when we put our house and our cars together.
Switching over saved me $300 a month.
And I have had insurance companies call me, and when I tell them what I'm paying for the insurance, they tell me we cannot beat that.
Low rates with the local advantage. That's Personal Express.
Hi, Corey Costello here, host of Roadrunner Rundown, Tuesdays 10 to 11 right here on Bakersfield.com. Join us this week as we speak with Athletics Director Jeff Konya, updating us on a couple coaching searches underway. Also, we're going to talk some sand volleyball, as that program has a new head coach in the interim, and also a new Corey Visits, as I'm on the road this week, and I'm going to take you to another exciting place around the Western Athletic Conference. So join us for that Tuesday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on Bakersfield.com.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet! You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, real estate, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
To open up with Dawn and Tina, I would like to give a special shout out to Dawn and Tina, since they're not with us today, and also my co-host Bob, who is not also with us today. But to all three of you guys, I hope you're watching. I hope I'm making you proud. But a really special shout out to Tina. Tina's actually in Washington, D.C. right now at the White House, working with the National Prayer Breakfast. So thank you, Tina, for your services, and we hope you're having a good time. So with me right now is Adrienne. Adrienne, thank you so much for joining us. And can you scoot up a little bit closer so we can hear your beautiful voice? So Can you tell our viewing audience what you do? I think coming from your voice will be a little bit more accurate than coming from my own.
I'm a board-certified lactation consultant, which means I provide support and education to breastfeeding women, to women who are pregnant and want to breastfeed, and to professionals who want to assist women with breastfeeding.
Awesome. So what do you do in our community? Like, what are your services that you provide?
I'm co-owner of a company called Bakersfield Breastfeeds, and we actually provide professional education. So nurses, medical professionals, doctors, women in the community who want to support breastfeeding, we provide the education that hopefully one day they can go on to become board-certified lactation consultants as well. It's one of the things we do.
Wonderful.
I'm also involved with Central Valley Lactation Association, which is a professional organization providing support to breastfeeding professionals. And we are working within the community to bring breastfeeding support to moms on a local level. We have great support in the community. We have La Leche League. All the hospitals have breastfeeding support groups. And now in March, Central Valley Lactation Association is opening a baby cafe, which will be a drop-in support location where moms can come and spend several hours, a few minutes. There will be lactation educators to facilitate, as well as a board-certified lactation consultant if women need private practice.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes, we're very excited.
A baby cafe.
A baby cafe. We're
That's
very excited.
so cute. I love it. Well, I was actually blessed to have your services immediately following my delivery. My little girl was having a hard time breastfeeding, and so I was able to call on you, and you were able to help out a lot. Which brings me to my next question. I probably should have taken a breastfeeding class prior to delivery, but I didn't. Shame on me. But why is a breastfeeding class so important?
It's so important now because we've lost generations of women who used to breastfeed. 100 years ago, everybody breastfed. Your mom knew how, your sister, your aunt, your cousin, and you saw it growing up. So it was just what you did. And if you had problems, your family or friends could help you. Well, we've lost, like I said, generations of women who no longer breastfeed. And now you have no one to turn to. And you don't grow up seeing breastfeeding. And most women work, so you're not even around babies.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, a natural act, you're like, I don't know what to do. And the baby has to learn. It's a learning experience. So you get it out in the world, and you're like, oh, no.
So why do lactation consultants exist?
Why do we exist? For that same reason, because starting back about, maybe 70 years, when women were not breastfeeding so much, La Leche League evolved from a group of women who knew you needed support to breastfeed. And over the years, through La Leche League, they discovered that there was a need for more professional consultants to work with moms with bigger problems, women who had clinical experience that were able to go in and assess situations and provide assistance.
You know, a lot of people might say, isn't breastfeeding a natural experience? I mean, isn't it innate within the baby? So why would someone need breastfeeding help? I mean, if it's supposed to be such a natural, beautiful experience, I mean, that's what I thought. Like, oh, this is so natural. It's so beautiful. And my baby is going to be, totally fine. And I'm going to be great. And we're going to be rock stars together. So why the help needed?
I think a lot is that we've changed birth. Birth used to just be, like with all mammals, you just had the baby, and they either survived or didn't, and you breastfed. And now birth has become a medical condition where it's medically managed, and that can definitely be appropriate in situations, but it also impacts the baby coming out. Babies might come out drugged or tired or traumatized, and mom as well. Mom's tired and traumatized. After you have a baby, it's a big shock to your system. And then when you have a baby that doesn't want to wake up or doesn't want to latch and they just want to hang out and you don't have any experience with babies, that really is worrying.
Yeah. So what are some complications that could happen to a baby, not necessarily during birth, but after birth? Like I had a complication that you were able to talk to me about and help me with.
Right.
Let's tell the viewing audience one about that and then anything else kind of similar to that.
Okay, like in your case, you had a baby that would be diagnosed as tongue-tied by a doctor. What we recognize in lactation is we recognize how the tongue functions and what role it plays in breastfeeding. And when the tongue movement is restricted, it makes breastfeeding very difficult for both the mom and the baby. Baby can't transfer milk, mom might experience pain. So it's something we're taught to recognize, and then we can refer you back to your doctor so they can diagnose and assist with the problem.
Great. And it totally helped. let me tell you, like after I figured out that my baby was tongue-tied, I was able to seek medical help for that, and I was able to get the problem corrected, and it was a night and day difference. I mean, if I wouldn't have had a lactation specialist come in and a doula also come in and tell me, I think this might be the problem, I would have not been able to breastfeed. I would have had to go to formula feeding, which would have been okay. I mean, sometimes you have to do that. But in my case, I really didn't want to. I wanted to really breastfeed. So next question, what is the difference in the various titles that people are offering for lactation help support?
Okay, so I'm a board certified lactation consultant. We're called IBCLCs, where it's an international certification. So our certification is we have hundreds of hours in breastfeeding education, and we have thousands of hours in clinical before we can even sit for the boards. And then at the end of this, we take the boards, and you have to pass. And once you pass, you're board certified. So we have a lot of experience going into working with moms. We're able to assess, we're able to assist, and educate. We have to recertify every 5 years. Every 10th year, we have to retake the boards. So they know our education is up to date.
Great. Now, what does an LBLI, what is
IBCLC.
Yep, what does that stand
It's
for?
International Board Certified Lactation Consultants.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So, and we are governed by, we have a governing body that governs us, and we have a scope of practice and a code of ethics and everything to guide us.
So what type of training do you have to go to become IBCLC?
They've changed it a little bit. Right now, you need 95 hours in breastfeeding education.
That's a lot of hours.
And then depending on what your career, if you are a nurse, you need so many clinical hours. If you are a mom, like I was going into lactation, you need more clinical hours, which means you have to work in a situation where you're doing hands-on with a mom, either under, like being a nurse, or under another lactation consultant, someone that can monitor and guide you. And that can take several years to get all the hours you need before you can take the boards.
I mean, that's a lot of hours, especially when you're working, you're a mommy. I mean,
right, all of that.
Yes.
So it just makes sure that we know what we're doing when we help moms.
Absolutely. It's kind of like becoming a doctor. My sister's in medical school right now, and it's taking her forever to get through, like every student in medical school. But I'm thinking, hey, I rather you learn what you're supposed to learn,
right,
and get through and weed out the weak ones,
right,
who like can't handle it or can't grasp the information. Yeah, I want you to be educated, and it's really amazing that something like this exist and that you are really educated and you have a lot of training. So how does the birth experience impact the baby and the ability to breastfeed?
So we talked a little bit about, trauma or sleepiness. We tend to see a lot of sleepiness in the hospital. Moms are given drugs. That drugs pass through the placenta to the baby. The babies tend to be sleepy. We like babies to eat because we want to lower risks of things like jaundice. We would really like to avoid things like that. And so that is one way it's impacted. IV fluids in birth can create excess fluid in the mom, which can make breastfeeding more difficult, can create excess fluid in the baby, which makes weight loss appear larger than it is, and then we have feeding concerns that way as well. So those are just a few of the things we see going on.
So does working with an IBCLC improve the chances of a baby breastfeeding?
Yes, they actually just came out with a very nice study that talks about that and how important, how moms who do work with IBCLCs are more likely to be breastfeeding at 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months than moms who never work with an IBCLC.
Well, working with you, I have been able to breastfeed. I mean, like I said earlier, without working with you and without having that experience and getting the education needed, I wouldn't have been able to breastfeed. And not only would I not have known my baby needed her tongue clipped, but I wouldn't have had the resources to transition her from getting her tongue clipped into breastfeeding. Right. So it was a great experience for me. Why is exclusive breastfeeding so important?
Exclusive breastfeeding is how we're made. All mammals are designed to breastfeed. And how we develop. Human infants are born early compared to other mammals, and so our development is very dependent upon receiving breast milk. And it changes if you don't exclusively breastfeed. It changes things like the gut lining, which can lead to increased illness or chronic illness later on in life. Those things are impacted by giving a substance other than breast milk. So for normal development, exclusive breastfeeding is really important.
Wow. Okay. I mean, a lot of people, you hear difference of opinions where mommies are like, oh, I don't want to breastfeed, so I'm just going to formula feed, or, you know what I'm saying? So there is really a health impact on a baby.
Right, and this is documented evidence-wise. It's documented. A lot of what we think about formula comes from marketing. It's not based in research. So formula serves a place, absolutely. For those moms that are unable to breastfeed, it serves a place. But we should realize that breastfeeding is a normal way to feed the baby.
Yes. In what way is the lactation community working to support breastfeeding outside the hospital?
Okay, a little bit like we talked about. We talked about hospital support groups. That's, even though they're in the hospital, this is after you go home and come back and meet other moms, and usually facilitated by a lactation educator or a lactation consultant. La Leche League, which is a breastfeeding support group, mother-to-mother support. Like I said, Baby Cafe is opening now, Central Valley Lactation Association. So we're trying to provide services because breastfeeding is really hard in the beginning. Moms do need that support. It's really important, and I don't think most women are aware of how hard it is until you have that baby, and then you feel really lost, and then without support, you're more apt to give up breastfeeding.
Well, Adrienne, thank you so much for all this wonderful information. And to our viewing audience, Adrienne's information is on the screen right now. If you have any questions concerning breastfeeding, or if you're pregnant and you want information about breastfeeding full time, please contact Adrienne, and that way you can get all the information you need and get the education necessary to successfully breastfeed. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Marcy.
I appreciate you coming in, and when we return, we're going to be meeting the most beautiful baby in the world.
I'm a comparison shopper. I shopped around. I did look on the internet, and in shopping around, it was the best price.
We decided to switch over to Personal Express because we saved so much.
We got a pretty good discount with when we put our house and our cars together.
Switching over saved me $300 a month.
And I have had insurance companies call me, and when I tell them what I'm paying for the insurance, they tell me we cannot beat that.
Low rates with the local advantage. That's Personal Express.
Hi, Corey Costello here, host of Roadrunner Rundown Tuesdays 10 to 11 right here on Bakersfield.com. Join us this week as we speak with Athletics Director Jeff Konya, updating us on a couple coaching searches underway. Also, we're going to talk some sand volleyball as that program has a new head coach in the interim, and also a new Corey Visits as I'm on the road this week, and I'm going to take you to another exciting place around the Western Athletic Conference. So join us for that Tuesday 10 to 11 a.m. right here on Bakersfield.com.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet! You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, real estate, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm really happy to introduce our good words for the week. I am so blessed to have a wonderful pastor, and with us today is Pastor James Scarborough from Hillcrest Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Good morning. I'm so delighted this morning to bring you some good words, and specifically good words for parents. And the first thing I'd like to share with you, parents, is the fact that God loves you and nothing will separate you from His love. In fact, the whole idea of being a parent and having children is God's idea. And He wants to be a full partner with you as you raise your children. In fact, the words of Jesus in Luke chapter 18, verse 16, He said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not forbid them, for of such is the kingdom of God." God is in the business of loving families, loving parents, loving children. And we live in a world that is very harsh, but God is good, and He provides all that a family needs to be able to care and raise their children in a way that will do them proud and honor God. One of the most powerful experiences that I've had as a father is to be present with my wife, Althea, when she gave birth to our 2 daughters. It was an experience that I would always remember. And the consciousness of God being present with me, with my wife, and my family as she gave birth, and the reality that He would be with me as a full partner and with my wife as full partners in raising our children was very comforting and consoling. I learned early that one of the things that was important for me to do as a father was to create an atmosphere of love in my home at all times, to affirm my children in the love of God. And I became aware of the reality while my wife was pregnant that I could communicate with my baby and bond with my child while it was still in the womb. And when the baby came into this world, the baby knew instinctively that Daddy and Mommy loved them both. And so I want to encourage fathers in particular to be a full partner with your wife in the raising of the baby, and be encouraged that you're not alone, that God is on your side. In Psalm 127, verse 3, the Bible tells us that children are heritage from the Lord. In other words, your child is a gift to you from God, and He will always be there to support you and to help you in your time of need.
Thank you so much, Pastor. So, world, here she is, baby Adonaiah Sophia Hronis. She is the love of my husband and I's life. We are so incredibly blessed to have such a beautiful, special angel a part of our life. But just like any birth experience, I mean, sometimes it's a beautiful blessing, and then sometimes it's a little difficult. Right after baby Adonaiah was born, she was actually diagnosed with jaundice, and we were encouraged to try to take care of her jaundice while we were in our postpartum room. And my husband and I did everything in our power that we could and followed all the medical advice that they gave us. And she still was put into the NICU several hours after she was born. And she was in the NICU for about 2 days, but the real blessing was, and the real miracle is, when she was actually put into the NICU for jaundice, they said she would probably be in the NICU for about 7 days. And my husband and I decided together that through prayer and through being a squeaky wheel, that we were going to try to get her out way before 7 days. And to God be the glory, she was actually out in 2. And the main principle behind that is, when you have a baby, and before, during, and after that whole process, it is your responsibility. Please be aware of what you can do as a parent to be an advocate for your child. Even when Adonai was in the NICU, they had to run a couple of tests and do a couple of things. And my husband and I were really proactive on when exactly are you testing? What exactly are you testing for? When should we be getting the results back? Although the actual information was readily available and the nursing staff was absolutely amazing, it is a NICU and they do have to really take care of everyone equally. And so even though baby Adonai was on the priority list and they gave her a lot of love and care and they were an amazing staff and medical staff to work with, my husband and I really took it upon ourselves to make sure that her tests were taken at the exact times, that the results were received at the right moments. And because of that, we were able to get her out in less time. And so we were very blessed to have her. So the moral of the story is, if you were able to watch from the beginning of the show till now, birth is a beautiful process, and it can be very difficult or it can be very easy. And some of the things that we talked about today can make your birth process easier. So if you're interested in a doula, if we could flash, she's wanting the microphone already. Good girl. If you're interested in a doula, I like to flash that information up on the screen again. That way you can contact Tisa or any doula in your area. And if you're interested in getting breastfeeding classes, please, in your area, contact your local hospitals or Google what is available in your area. Are you wanting to say hello to everyone? Oh, never mind. Camera shy. She's a little camera shy. She's only 1 month, 3 days old today. And so thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a lot today. I hope it was educational for not only you, but maybe for someone in your life that is wanting to have a really good birth experience. And I think my little baby girl's having her debut right now. She's trying to say hello to the world. Oh, she's so precious. But at the end of the day, be an advocate. Really research what your options are before, during, and after birth. And that's why a doula and that's why lactation specialists and the nursing staffs are there to help you. During your birth process, become friends with your nursing staff. They are amazing people. They're so educated and they'll be able to help you out. So after all, the experience of a birth is really a beautiful experience. And even though that there are problems like, your baby getting jaundice or you're having trouble breastfeeding, at the end of the day, there are people out there that are willing to help you and there are people out there that want to help you. So thank you to all my guests today and for Pastor James Scarborough coming in. We appreciate all the information and we hope that you guys learned a lot.